When social media is at peak, I chose to get off it. Must be something crazy to do, right? Well, I began social when at least people in my family or known circle were not active for creating content. They hardly would have considered it to be, part of their expression or their careers or something they would want to do in their daily lives. In 2013, I began my YouTube channel to post videos to spread awareness of education for all, as my background was of working with NGOs and schools, and I actively work with somewhere at that point. And we were actually doing a lot of work that needed to be voiced out. It was then very new, but I was too comfortable to use it as a tool to express what I feel. Even before that, being enterprising by nature, I started a design studio under the name of Skydoers Consulting right after I completed my certification in graphics and web designing. Later, I also underwent apparel designing, and finishing that, I created my own label that only worked for khadi as a fabric, which is a very, very key fabric of our nation, somewhere in 2010 ish. I'm not sure, like, I what I got or why did I do it, but I'm sure it did good to me then and now as well. With the kind of work right now that I did on Instagram lately with about 700 followers, it might look strange to give that up. It was strange for me too. I will take time here and take you close to this choice I've made. I spent great amount of time meditating, reading, researching, designing, creating one post that set the world out in just 2 or 3 lines. But only a few could attempt to like and none could comment. I did I actually didn't bother much about the numbers then. Somewhere in back of my mind, it did pinch a bit. But then I went to, I actually attempted a social media detox, which I already shared in my previous podcast, which you know how and why it happened. After that, I repurposed to Instagram. How do I use it? I entirely repurposed my, time and efforts for Instagram. And I thought this is one of the ways I express what I feel and a platform that I could use at my daily blog. I I was clear that it is only to express and let the vibe go out as to who I want to be. I'm so grateful to few of the people who really encouraged me on each of my posts. Like out of 700, even there were like about 2 or 3 people who kept making their presence and making me feel that, hey, they read it. The people who, and this is something that I always believe in, that when the people who are backed by family and friends for what they do, meaning that if they start something, there are friends and family go gaga about it, share it all over, and those are the people who reach greater heights. Because when a third person who's a stranger sees that this person is being acknowledged by their own people, um, and there are a lot of people talking about it, even if there are more than like your close family and friends, but they still send that vibe of oneness, and hence they decide to join your community that you wish to create, as they find it is trusted. But when your very own family and so-called friends do not share or value what you do on social, and in return expect you to promote, now this happens with me a lot. I do know people expect that Shruti will post my thing on story, or hey, why don't you share our page. There are many people who just come to me asking for that. When I say many, consider 2 or 3. Well, I always believe that bragging or forcing people to share your work is a very it's a very wannabe, and it's something that really creeps people out. What if you give them a space that if they like the post, they would want to share? Maybe that's the reason why I don't have much of the shares. But when you really give that space, you also get to know that, hey, there are genuine buyers, there are genuine followers, there are genuine people who believe in it, rather than just achieving the numbers you want, right? I did see there were friends who, just for the sake of pleasing the other friend, shared the work they did on Instagram, even for the fact that I know that that person had spoken to me about the fact that she didn't believe in the work the other person was doing. And later I discovered that, the same person who was, not happy with the content is sharing the page on her story. Well, that's choice of the people, but when your own family and friends do not share a value, and these things kind of take place, it becomes killing of time and you feel so devastated. Of course, I felt bad and uncomfortable when I noticed people I know looked at my post on stories and just passed by. They did not even react to it, or just say hello, or and to make myself better, feel better, I would say to myself, maybe they are not yet at the place to be able to understand the spiritual and mindful content I create. So then these thought bubbles put me to rediscovering and going on detox to cleanse from the negative effects of social media on my self confidence. I later worked harder purposefully to just make good content that I believe in. It is commonly said in social that people say create content that audience wants to read and watch, even if it is a nonsense or a mockery or fundamentally inappropriate content like using your children to get insta fame, mocking people, making fun of miserables and vulgarity and so on. And that disconnected me to an extent that I discovered that spending time on this tool for what? Going nowhere was not for me. For those who are under the influence of the millions of followers might feel I am jealous. Well, sure, I too thought so earlier, but my friends, it is much beyond it. I was so disconnected that I could not stand some content which make no sense to me to be just watched as a center to entertainment. It just did not work for me. And on top of that, when I actually researched about the profiles that make your number to a million, those were the totally off mindset, like totally of the mindset I do not come from. I swear it was one video where a father is recording his child imitating the song on TV, and when the hero jumps to the hero actually jumps to catch the rope in the bus, the child too jumped. But you know on what? She jumped on the television. And what happened next? Television fell off the table with the child. And this video was put in the context of comedy to entertain and get more views, followers, and likes. Really? So, is this the kind of entertainment I am up for? Well, certainly not. Though I know many who aren't impacted much by what has been put up on social, which is great for them, that they are able to balance and carry their peace of mind. But for me, it certainly impacted my space. And so here I am back to old school of blogging. Well, yes, I resumed my blogging on my website wherein I write one post each day with the experiences I'm having and some discoveries and exposures and revealing what I feel about some of the matters that are going around. But I'm glad I'm back to the real job, real work, making difference by staying a low key. If ever I want to celebrate, I will have my family or people who really care to find a way to reach me. I came up with this analogy, if you would like to relate, maybe. Instagram and Facebook are like, you are standing on the crossroads and waving at people passing by. And when they return the wave or return and say hello to you, meaning they're liking and commenting, you think you're talk of the town. But actually, you are standing on the mid of the road where people will anyway look at you. And being person of quality, which means off the social or maybe being a person who's private, is like staying at home or wherever, and real folks, people would actually knock your door or email you or mail you when they need. Now that's what I'm talking about. If really people care, they would come to your door. Otherwise, just to seek attention and just to have your life have an existence, you are actually standing on the roads to be validated by the people you don't even know. The illusion helps you to gain confidence, but too much of it also, you are trapped into this. It will be a damage where you will realize that your confidence was dependent on an elusive wall and it had to break. I got new connections and reconnections with real people on social, but looks like a high maintenance for me. I cherish all the moments and beautiful, beautiful conversations and will always be grateful to what I got from it. However, my friends, my station has come and I need to get down the train. If it must, you surely would see me back on social. If it is not meant for me still, then you know you can reach me here.